So we have game 3 here between Piwetz and Wright. So on the play, Ron will be on a 6-card hand here for the 3rd game.
Looks like we have a sleeve mirror here.
Oh, those things can be the worst.
That gives you a nice icebreaker.
Now, my thoughts here in this matchup generally, and tell me if I'm wrong here, would be that Eldrazi decks are frequently good against removal spells. I would think that this would be a tough match, tough game from the Jund side.
I'm inclined to agree. Depending on how the hand shapes up, Jund is not bad against hands that hinge on Noble Hierarch. Yeah. Jund's pretty good at slowing you down on those fronts, but when Ron starts casting Matter Reshapers, Thought-Knot Seers, Eldrazi Displacers, well, the Displacer not so much, but the Reality Smashers, the Drowner of Hopes, these cards are problematic.
To borrow something from Standard, when you think about the Standard black decks that try to kill everything, these Languish decks, they don't like playing against Smashers and Thought-Knot Seers. That is how you beat them.
Right.
So players will trade land drops on the early turns.
Sort of the best card available in Modern for Jund would be Damnation, but it doesn't look like there's going to be any Damnations available.
Yeah, right now, actually, sorry, Piwetz is the player on Bant Eldrazi here. Robert Wright is the Jund player. So for Piwetz, he starts out with a fetch land for Temple Garden, and then a Hallowed Fountain. And I think with the Bant Eldrazi deck, that's one of the truths of the deck, is that they spend the first 2 turns doing nothing a fair amount of the time. Mm-hmm. But after that, it can get really real. Robert does have a turn 2 play, though. It's a copy of Dark Confidant. For Ron, it's a Yavimaya Coast, and he passes the turn.
Yeah, Ron's just kind of hanging out.
Kolaghan's Command in Wright's hand. That's what Dark Confidant will show. I'm surprised. Ron has a copy of Path to Exile in his hand. He did not use it on the Dark Confidant here. I understand that giving Jund a mana accelerant early in the game is really bad.
I could theoretically understand if I had a bunch of Reality Smashers that I was going to cast on a good window that
we're
I
going
wouldn't
to burn them out
a lot. But he just has 3 mana sources in play. We're still 2 turns off of that, so I probably would have gone for the Path to Exile.
Scavenging Ooze from Wright plays a 2nd Raging Ravine, passes the turn. Now Ron will go for the Path to Exile, and he hits the Scavenging Ooze. This is really interesting. So I think the straight-up way is to play the card advantage games. They had almost getting extra cards after your Dark Confidant, but Ron's going to let Robert have cards, and he's trying to take away the damage sources.
Yeah, I guess his plan in this matchup is just Dark Confidant's going to kill you.
Draws Pithing Needle, he'll play it. Imagine it's on Raging Ravine. So there's 2 of those in play for Wright. We'll get a confirm, though.
I did not realize until he put it into play that was a brush land.
Okay, so the Pithing Needle is naming Liliana of the Veil.
Okay, I like that. And it looks like the Reality Smasher is the card in hand, so he won't be able to just get edicted off of that.
Ron will go to 15 off this Dark Confidant hit. He may not be able to win the race, though. If Robert just starts playing, say, Land, Activate, Ravine, Swing, Smasher doesn't win the race. Well, it would need help from Dark Confidant to win the race.
Smasher could win that race.
Yes. Kitchen Finks from Robert will put him up to 19. Plays a Blackcleave Cliffs, passes the back. Ron draws Drowner of Hope.
Okay. That's
good draw.
That's good follow-up to Smasher.
Dark Confidant is becoming the story of the game, however.
I think for this turn, the Smasher is probably going to have to be on blocking duty.
Ooh.
Presumably, Wright has some way to deal with it. Even if he has to discard a couple of cards, he has some extra ones from the Bob.
Here's a Reality Smasher from Ron. It'll swing. Robert will block. Oh, wow. Does he have the Lightning Bolt to take care of it?
That'd be pretty brutal here.
So 3 tramples over. The Finks persists back in game 2. So Robert will go to 18.
That block is also not bad abstractly. He only takes 1 off of the attack, but it looks like he does have the Lightning Bolt as well.
Yeah, so he Lightning Bolts the Smasher. Now we'll have to discard a card to it. Discards, well, an extra land. Dark Confidant has helped him out a lot on that front. And easy enough. Swamp drawn off Dark Confidant. Extra card into hand for Robert Wright. Activates Ravine. This is a lot of damage. 4 off the Ravine, 2 off each of the creatures. Ron will drop to 7.
Yeah, and Drowner on the next turn is fine, but there's a pretty high chance that Robert has something to do about that.
Some sort of kill spell, and that he still has 6 cards in hand at the moment. Yeah, I have to agree.
Yeah, Ron's also down to 7. Getting pretty close to just dying to some lightning bolts.
Cavern of Souls for Ron. He's got the Drowner. He'll go ahead and cast. Gets 2 Scions.
The Scions do currently trade with Dark Confidant and the Persistent Kitchen Finks.
Perfect. Yeah, but you're right. Roberts can just sit back and draw cards. We'll see. Dark Confidant flips another Dark Confidant right down to 16.
So, and this is a point where we start to see that Ron not pathing to Dark Confidant is very likely to be incorrect, with the fact that Robert would probably happily just cast that second Dark Confidant here.
Yeah. He'll terminate away Drowner. If Ron wants to tap anything, he'll have to do it now. And just an embarrassment of riches here on Robert's side. You see a Huntmaster of the Fells was the draw for the turn. He has a second Dark Confidant. He could activate a Ravine. I think he has a lot of choices. I'm not sure any of them are wrong.
No shortage of options.
Kolaghan's Command makes Ron discard a card and takes care of a Scion. Now a swing. Ron, empty-handed. Trades away his Scion with a Kitchen Finks. Goes to 5.
So I think against a player that didn't path to exile my Scavenging Ooze over my Confidant, I would hang the Confidant back on this turn because I don't want it to trade with the Scion.
Oh, at this point you don't care anymore, do you?
Yeah, I guess.
You have another one. You look at all those cards you have.
If I have 16 life and I could Necro some of that into cards, I'm going to Necro some of that into cards.
Matter Reshaper from Ron Piwetz. Draw from Robert Wright. Lightning Bolt is the card he'll show. He'll go to 15. And I just suspect we have enough burn to finish this one off. Here's Anger of the Gods. We'll exile away all the creatures.
Now we have a lethal Raging Ravine.
And that Raging Ravine swings for 5 and for the match. Robert Wright takes it in 3, and with Jund, he remains undefeated.
So, Jund pretty convincingly won that game. I'm not positive that's indicative of the matchup. Ron's hand, all things considered, was kind of lame. Didn't come out of the gates very quickly. His first real play was on turn 5, Reality Smasher.
Yeah, there are, right. I mean, his deck does, for example, get to play 4 Eldrazi Temples in it. It plays 4 Noble Hierarchs. He didn't do any of those.